What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Business and Biceps. And you better wake your ass up, because on today's show, we're going to go over the ultimate time waster in business or life. Johnny Fosco.
Cory, that sounds interesting, and I know what we're talking about. We're talking about the S word. That's speculation. So when we get into it, we're going to help you guys understand how to avoid it.
Maurice, I'm telling you, you're going to tell me. I can't wait to hear your points on, over speculating situations in business and life, because people waste so much time. It'll be intriguing to hear some of your.
Brother, listen to me. The most difficult thing to deal with people, or when dealing with others, is those who have the knack, or those who enjoy wasting time.
There's a lot of people that do too.
Yeah, I didn't know how to say that more clear, but I think I've said it. But wasting time is probably one of my pet peeves.
Oh, 1,000%. Today is brought to you by a new sponsor, Skillshare. John.
Hey, we are proud to have them, Cory, and I know you know
I do.
all about Skillshare.
I do. Here, Skillshare.com/biceps. What is Skillshare? I'm going to tell you right now, John
Thanks,
and
Cory.
Maurice.
Thank you.
Over 20,000 classes. So you can learn anything from marketing, technology, design, and way more. And it's basically a wide open platform that they're giving 2 months away for 99 cents a month. So basically you can go to Skillshare.com/biceps, 99 cents a month for 2 months, and learn literally all kinds of different stuff.
Yeah, I always say like that.
Sweet.
I love the internet.
Mo, I love the internet too.
Hey, we all love it.
It's just so much.
Yes, but
material.
now but this is for the guy who is like me, who doesn't have a degree, who wants to specialize and learn and get better in a certain area.
Yes.
And they can use this platform to basically do it. That's why I just love the internet.
Absolutely.
Hey, I love the comment, and I do too love the internet. And okay. And what else I'll tell you is that I think in this world where people are either going to college, deciding on going to college, or not going to college, Skillshare is a place where you can literally learn applicable skills that you can then take and get a job. Right,
yeah,
so it's a fantastic platform to just learn applicable skills that you may not have picked up along the way, and Skillshare will introduce them to you.
Over 20,000 classes. Go to Skillshare.com.
It's a big number, Cory.
/biceps.
The question is, could you count to 20,000?
Yes. No. I can count to 20, and then just add some zeros.
Hey, okay.
Also brought to you by Common Bond, one of our favorite sponsors, because there is a big need out there. Because as you're listening to this podcast, you could have school debt. And if you have school debt, you should go to commonbond.com/biceps and save.
Commonbond.co. Let's clarify things, Cory.
I think they're actually.
Did they change it?
No. Okay. Well, it says that on this paper.
Well,
Jeremy.
Maybe Jeremy should do his job.
Jeremy. All right. Commonbond.co. Check it out, because they save. The average person saves $24,000.
That's a lot of money, Cory. That's a lot of money. That's enough money for you to increase your payment on your car to get a Ghost.
I knew you.
Oh, this guy. Anyways,
I knew you were gonna go there. I could tell.
Anyways,
Mo might go there.
Yeah. But back.
Hey, look at Mo smiling.
Oh, I say,
but I don't have any school debt, Mo.
Listen, you put like this. You can get a Ghost and afford a Ghost. A lot of people get Ghosts and they can't afford a Ghost. Yeah, right. And so I always talk about the horror program and the showing off program, but it's okay for guys who can actually afford a Ghost.
Mo, will you ride around with me?
Yeah. Proudly. Yeah, proudly.
All right. Okay, hold on. We'll talk about that later. Common Bond.
Yes. No, I'm trying to give Common Bond some love, man.
Go.
So Common Bond's been great to us because they've been great to our listeners. And every listener testimonial we've seen from email or on social media has simply been, these guys cut my rate in half. These guys save me $300 a month. It's just so simple. If you have college debt, you owe it to yourself to commonbond.co to go there, /biceps, so you can get a quote, so they can know you came from Business and Biceps, so they can process your quote quicker and save you more money. These guys are serious, man. They want to help you get out of debt, and we highly encourage you to do it for yourself and save some money.
Absolutely. We appreciate you guys. And I guess now it's time to segue to Fosco's world. Maurice, take it away.
There we go, right?
Michael Blood.
There we go, right? It is raining outside, and when it rains, he grows another 2 inches.
And when it rains, it pours.
And when it rains, it pours. Hailing all the way from the Windy City. Standing about 6'3" because he has on a hoodie, a hat, his glasses, and we're back in the studio recording.
Yes.
He's 210 because he just bought another gym membership.
Oh.
One of 9.
That's amazing. That's an amazing stat.
We'll talk about that another day.
Mr. Johnny Fosco.
John Fosco does not take responsibility, nor can he be held liable for anything he says, does, or gestures. He is mentally healthy most of the time. If you are offended by these statements, know that it is not John's intention, but he doesn't really care. This being said, listen at your own risk and shut the fuck up.
Man.
I feel like I ain't seen y'all in a long time.
I know. It's been a while. I was excited to record today.
Yeah.
All right, hold on. Go ahead, John. It's your turn.
Okay, first off, Mo has new shoes on today, and I love them.
He does.
Mo's got some
Jordan 11s.
Jordan 11s.
And the socks. Don't
Yep.
forget the socks.
Red socks, red
They say
hoodie.
ho-ho. They say ho-ho on them.
I'm worried
Yes.
we might get shot up. This guy looks like a blood.
He does look like a blood.
But he's not.
We're in the suburbs, though.
Yeah, he's a fine professional gentleman. Okay, so let's get into my world, guys. So today we're going to talk about something that's very simple, and it may sound so simple that I want you to give it some deeper thought, and I'm going to try to walk you through it in my verbiage. So as we grow older, I think when we're all young, we develop sensitivities because we are trying to learn how to cope with certain things, so we're sensitive to certain things based on what happened to us as children. But as we grow older and as we take on a career path or try to build a business or try to build a relationship, sensitivity becomes more and more worthless. And as I observe and deal with people who are sensitive as a grown man who spends my days trying to accomplish things, like, I think it's very important to let people know if you are sensitive, like you're like, oh, I'm sensitive, or you have a friend who's sensitive or a coworker, like they are underdeveloped and they're kind of a bitch. And I'll tell you why, because when you are sensitive, okay, you stop. Let's say there's a project in the office. You stop the ability to move that project forward and do positive things because somebody looked at you the wrong way, said something that made you feel a certain way, and you feel, because you're sensitive, that your feelings are so important that something needs to be done because that person said this to me. It's like, you are a fucking child. You need to grow up. Like, everybody nowadays thinks that their feelings, their emotions matter. Okay, maybe when you're at home on Thanksgiving or Christmas with your mom, they fucking matter. Maybe they matter with your family. They don't fucking matter at work. Nobody wants to fucking hear about how you feel about how someone talked to you. Listen, I'm not saying go fucking cuss someone out or treat someone like shit or disrespect somebody. But I'm talking about trivial shit. I'm talking about small shit where people just stop. They stop what they're doing and they say, it's me time. It's time for me to be sensitive. I can't keep moving forward because I am so important that I need to be heard. Well, what happened, John? What happened? Maurice looked at me and he shook his head like I was a kid. I'm not a kid. I'm a grown man. Why did Maurice do that? I'm not going to go into a meeting with Maurice. Maurice needs to apologize to me. Grow the fuck up, dude. It's like we are not, me and Maurice are not in that hypothetical situation. We're not in the same place together to fucking hug each other and pat each other on the back. We're trying to get something accomplished. So if the way Maurice looks at me offends me, well, I got some news for me. I got to suck it the fuck up and move the fuck on and get rid of my sensitivity and my self-importance, because all it does is hold you back and it puts a ceiling on you. Everything we talk about here, we try to give you tools so there is not a ceiling on you, so you can keep fucking going. And if you're a sensitive little fucking mama's boy bitch, you are not going to get to where you want to go. And then you're going to be confused. Why don't I, like, everyone doesn't understand when they look at a successful person and they say, why aren't I, they just don't get it. They don't get, like, why am I not successful? Like, these are part of the reasons. There's many reasons, but this is a contributing factor.
Huge.
The value.
Huge.
I am so valuable. My feelings are so fucking valuable that everything needs to stop and I need to be heard. No, everything doesn't need to stop and you don't need to be heard. That's for your girlfriend at home, pussy. Like, that is for your fucking mom. When we are doing business, fucking suck it up. Man the fuck up, get over it, and do not stop the train that needs to keep fucking rolling. I just I see so much self-importance and so much sensitivity, especially from the younger generation, and it ain't about me. It's like, you guys are gonna fuck yourself, bro. You're gonna fuck yourself, and you gotta wake up. And that's how I'm feeling today.
So Fosco's world, is it accurate to say don't be a sensitive bitch?
Yeah, you know, he
But he hit it right on the nose.
No, at first he was entertaining as usual, right?
Yeah.
And then
There's a hard-hitting point, though.
But what he started doing, he started just like firing memories in my brain of times that I've become frustrated from people that I've employed.
Sure.
Where we get into these sensitive spaces, or it's all about my feelings, and it's not your disregarding feelings. I think you may have said one of the best things. And I should write it down somewhere. And you said that the job is a job, but getting along is a luxury. You know what I'm saying? Or you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. When you can have a positive relationship in the workplace, that's a luxury. That's not what we're here for, though.
That's not what we're here for.
Yeah.
And I've seen so many. I've seen business, and I'm speaking of my own business, stop from growing or being developed from trivial arguments happening
about nonsense,
brother, about straight nonsense, but all my feelings. But what he said, that it's the important factor of being like super successful, or being on your way to being super successful, is really to be callous to all that shit.
Yeah.
Like, and if you can't be callous to what those little things that make you sensitive, or you hurt my feelings shit, bro, you will be like a fucking train wreck. And he's right. It's really you really cutting yourself short. You cutting yourself off at the knees, and really fucking yourself. And you'll take that same attitude and you'll go to another company, another business, or you'll bring that same little sensitive ass thing in a relationship. And really, I don't know how else to name it, but it's just like a little bitch.
Right.
I don't know how. I think it can carry over into your relationship at home too. I think that people get super butthurt with each other all the time, and then it just makes everything rocky.
But I think we live in a culture like, oh, you know,
most petting me.
Like yeah. So we live in like a super hypersensitive culture where everything is like, man, look at my paper. It's all about me. There's no more. There's no more team. There's no more like, let me take this on the shoulder. Let me take my lumps and bumps.
I want to commend John on that, because that's one of the biggest things of me working on my own a lot. I have a team atmosphere at the gym, but that was one thing that John probably, maybe because of how kind of hardcore you are, people might not realize how much of a team guy you are, John. Mm-hmm. So I want to commend you on that, because I've learned a lot from you being here about those type of things, and you've always pushed nothing but team. It's been cool.
Yeah, I have seen, and thank you, and I've seen, and this is for the listener, what it yields when you say, okay, whatever I'm feeling that may be negative or hurtful or whatever from another person, I'm going to handle myself. I'm going to put it on my own shoulders, and I'm going to deal with it. This is not someone else's deal. I have seen what that yields, and it yields a constant path upward. So guys, in closing, stop taking your self-importance and putting it at the top of the pyramid, and start taking the team and your environment and other people that you work with, and put that at the top. So let's segue. I'm sweating. I don't think I'll sweat in this segment, because it's calmer and it's called.
All right, thanks, Fosco. So in my studies this morning of lunging 800 meters in the rain, which was not very fun, by the way. It was pouring rain. I was studying the law of compensation, Mo. John.
Okay.
Everybody wants to learn how to be compensated more, right? Now, Ralph Waldo Emerson.
Ralph Waldo, yes.
Familiar.
Yeah, wrote the Law of Compensation book, which I listened to. It takes a few times because it's some OG shit, and I've studied a bunch of it. But there's three main things. That's kind of what I'm getting at. In the Law of Compensation, people think I just get a job and I get paid, or I'm going to mosey through life and I'm
Mosey.
Mosey, you like that?
Yeah, that's a good word.
Not Maurice or Mosey.
Mosey.
It's like mosey through life and get paid. But there's three really important things of how you get compensated more or increase your compensation, okay? So number one, the need of the service or product, right? Yeah. As entrepreneurs, we see marketplaces, we see needs. That's a huge part of it, right? And there's subcategories we'll go under each one of them.
Sure.
Number two, the ability to execute it. What kind of skill do you really have to execute on what you see as an opportunity? And number three, and this is key for continued growth, I believe, is the difficulty it is in replacing you. Meaning,
that's everything,
right? Okay, so everybody on
took the words out of my mouth.
Everybody, because you can identify. So I think if people start to look internally of their inside and outside of their situation, and they say, I believe I'm entitled to that's how it starts, I think. I'm entitled to this much more money, or why am I not making this much more money? Why isn't my business well, you should really run it through these three things and understand, and I've done this in multiple our businesses. I've looked and said, like, okay, if they're not increasing or they're not increasing at the level I want them to, if I look at these three things, I can find why real fucking quick, right? Mm-hmm. And so once again, if the need of the service of the product is timing and opportunity and recognizing the marketplace, the ability to execute is your team and your strategy, and the difficulty in replacing you. To me, there's some intangible factors there that makes John, me, you, from a practitioner standpoint of what we're good at. And I think that you have to take all those things into account if you want the law of compensation to work in your favor.
I think if you start at the beginning, those are all fantastic points. If you start at the beginning, the need, right?
Yep.
The need, that is why one creates or starts a business.
There you go.
Because there is a need in the marketplace. And here's where we try to make a point to you guys, the listeners, that it's not about the want. I want to create a shoe company because they're cool. It's about what do you see that you try to buy and you can't because it's not available or it's not easily accessible. That's a need, and that's the first spot you zone in on if you have a passion to start a business. And the execution part, listen, man, executioners are the only people who continue to stay alive in the shark-infested waters of business, because if you're not an executioner, you will be shunned so quickly, and you won't even have an opportunity. But what was the third one called?
It's the difficulty in replacing you.
Yeah, I mean that's
the undeniable value.
That's the boss status stuff. That's where I always connect it to money, right? If someone looks at you, if you're an employee and says, if I lose this dude, we are going to, or female, we are going to take a financial hit. So we're talking about the laws of compensation. If a business is going to take a hit because you're gone as an employee, you have done your job correctly.
Yes.
So
it applies no matter whether you're an employee or you own your own business. That's what I love about it.
Absolutely. There's some different, let's say, power and control structure, but from a compensation standpoint, yeah, you're absolutely right, because we get compensated as owners by what the whole does.
Exactly.
Yeah, but when I first thought about this, when you start saying it, I started thinking about athletes, and you can really say the same thing applies. And I was going backwards. Your ability to execute. Or not to execute, your ability to not be replaced, and some of your guys who have the highest skill sets, who perform very well,
LeBron James,
and who delivers all the time. Yes, these guys, and if like LeBron left Cleveland like he did, tickets go from $100 to $6.
Yeah, I mean, think about this.
$6 is a good deal.
Think about Peyton Manning. This is a great example. You need high-level quarterbacks in the league.
Yes.
His ability to execute like a coach, and how hard is he to replace? That's
Extremely
why motherfucker
hard.
is making $25 million a year.
Yes,
I mean,
he's compensated more
because of his preparation and his skill to execute. It's
You know
unbelievable.
You know what you're going to get.
But what goes into that? What goes into that is not the bitch program, right?
Not the bitch program.
What goes into that is
The team program.
the team program, the taking my lumps and bumps, the consistent practice, the hard work, the grind. What goes into that is the film study,
Craftsmanship, man.
How about this one, Mo? The Beyond Me program. This is bigger than me. I may be the captain, but I need you all to be on.
It's
my
a symphony
ship.
from a quarterback
This
standpoint.
is why look. So you all knew nothing about this. This list was made before I got here.
Yeah.
It's all about team.
Yeah.
Right. The things I was going to talk about. That lets me
You
know.
can still talk about it.
Synchronicity.
No, but that lets me know in the space of harmony, whatever's going on inside this room. For whatever it's worth to anybody else or whatever we talk about, that's how I know this stuff sticks. You
How
know what I'm
often
saying?
does it happen?
Bro.
Often.
Yeah.
Bro,
where we're aligned.
Yes. It happens often. You know what I mean? But a lot goes. Put like this: a lot goes into making this happen. A lot goes into us talking. But when we're that far in sync with each other,
Yes.
and when you're talking about the importance of team, when you're talking about the importance of not being a bitch, when you're talking about the importance of perfecting your craft, when you're talking about that stuff, that's what ultimately makes you inseparable, or it separates you from
Separation.
Other people, because the process of being great or becoming great in anything that you do, like you can be great for a fucking moment, you can be great for one game, right? But it's establishing the standard that you have to perform to within your industry, supplements, athletics, behavioral health, be it with cameras, be it with a producer, and can you perform to that level consistently? And as shit happens, can you maintain it, and then can you grow it? That's what greatness is about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a standard out there, and I don't know how that plays into you, but
No,
it
it's
just
good.
kind of went through my mind. But I don't, like, every day is all about playing to a standard. Like, when you perform at your best in business, right? When you perform at your best in fitness, in business, and all of what you have going on. And can I maintain that level or hit that mark or get very fucking close to it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday,
And check this
Thursday,
out. When I
Friday?
maintain that level, it's hard to replace me.
Because everybody can't do it.
exact-
Everybody
and
can't do it, bro.
And that's what I have learned at multiple times in my career, and I'm trying to stay in that pocket now, because that's what it is.
But how many guys hold it for 3 months and then after?
It's hard to hold it.
So what I would just kind of throw out there to people to think about, I think when you get in this zone of being able to hit on those three things and being irreplaceable, let's just talk about an experience we had earlier this week. I mean, in the span of about 2 hours, we netted about 260 grand doing some business, right? In the span of about 2 hours, it affected us zero, because that's what we do.
Yeah.
And I know people are listening like, whoa. It's not whoa. It's motherfucker. I have put in the time.
You kind of expect it when you put the time in.
You've put in the time. I know Mo has in his business, and that's what happens. And I want people to believe that's what happens, because it is what happens. But you have to take on that mentality before you get there, right? You can't walk there. You have to get that mentality when you get $1,000.
Yep.
It ain't a big deal, bro. When you get $5,000, it ain't a big deal. And you just expect it.
Keep ripping and rolling, right, Mo?
Rip
That's
and
what
roll,
Mo always
Mo.
says.
Baptize them.
Hey, you know what, Jeremy? I want to get a law of compensation, little artwork, and put it up on IG timely. I think for people, just so they can go back through this. It'll be dope. So, all right, time for Maurice's program.
Absolutely. Hey, it's Halloween. Where's the pirate?
Yeah.
Yes. So, what I plan on talking about, I was going to talk about some stuff with team, but I wanted to talk about something that I think that I've had a few different discussions this week about with guys in starting business, and that things happen slower than you want them to program. Right?
That's the fucking truest program I've ever heard. Program.
Yeah. And it always costs more.
Yes, and so I just wanted to start in a couple different places and transition, and you all can weigh in on it. But what I found out is that when you create an idea or you have an idea about your business, when it's you thinking about it, you always daydream of your business in perfect conditions, right? You don't think of anything that could happen because it hasn't happened. Right, so you can't assume that this thing that hasn't happened yet will happen to you, or that you will run into trouble. And as things happen along the process of you building the business, the ability to get over them, or your willingness or wantingness to get over them, really shows you how much you love the business, or how much dedication or commitment that you have to making this thing happen, right? And so what I always tell guys is that, you know, when you're in control of everything, you can kind of control the speed of something happening, right? And if you have a lot of money, you're paying another person more than their other vendors or whoever it is, you can kind of control their time because they need you a shit ton of much, right? They can kind of move on your pace because you're paying them the money. But when you're first starting things out and you have to pass off a portion of what needs to be done to somebody, graphic designer, or whoever it may be, these people move at their own pace. And so they may have a 9 to 5 and John may need something, turn back around to him. Cory needs something, turn back around to him. Like, that shit typically happens slower, right? You start dealing with real estate. I start dealing with some stuff with real estate, right? Getting some properties. The title company has to talk to, you get the process. Everybody has to talk to 50,000 different people. The seller, me, have to get financing lined up, have to get with banks. And in your head, you're thinking like, I want this property. I'll get it done fast. Things will be done. I'm on my way. It doesn't happen like that. And the ability to be patient is like the thing that should be taken from the process. Having a level of patience and understanding that business happens slow, the resilience it takes to basically walk down that road and say, hey, I'm going to make this thing happen no matter what it takes. And just to understand that there's really no fucking rush. You know what I'm saying? And oftentimes we put these fictitious things in our head, like we have to rush. Like, and so there's a difference between having a sense of urgency when you're working and a rushing, right? And rushing is
you make mistakes when you rush, Mo.
Yeah, because you're just trying to get it done, right? You know what I'm saying?
Irresponsible movement.
Irresponsible movement. When you can slow down, let me work like this is important and get the details gathered, and then once I capture this, is on to the next thing. But another thing that I think that hinders people is that they don't create an internal meeting with themselves, right? And one thing I've learned the most is that anything that I've accomplished a lot, I've met on a lot, right?
Yeah.
The most important things in understanding these are my goals, this is what I'm responsible for, and then always coming back and saying, okay, why didn't this thing get accomplished? Or if we all got together and we were trying to build a new part of a supplement and everybody had a task to this thing, okay, and we all had to meet with each other, what were you responsible for, Cory? And excuse me, literally, why didn't this happen this week? You know what I'm saying? Or why did it happen this week? And so can you feed John some of that information on why it happened? Can we feed Kyle and Jeremy and so on and so forth? So I don't think that people understand the importance of, even when you don't have 1,000 people, meeting with yourself. Meeting with yourself is a real fucking thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And having clear goals defined on a weekly basis of what you're working on, because it, like, just because you get into business, has the tools of business, have an idea of business, it doesn't mean these things will come together. You have to streamline a process, organize a process, operate a process, and continue to grow and scale that process. And I'm really just, and this is really the counsel that I gave to my guys. And it was I think it's just good information, but I don't know if you all too can weigh in, but that was sort of my program.
Yeah, I like that program. And I think a crucial part of it is when you have something going on in business that you'd like to happen, you'd like it to happen faster, but the fact is there's a lot of moving parts, and it's going to happen at the speed that it's going to happen at. When that process is taking place, I think multitasking is huge, because it's like, okay, this objective's here. Right now, I'm trying to make it a thing, but it's not yet. So I will check in on it. I will manage it. I will give it what it needs from my part daily. But beyond that, I can't lose sight of what else I'm doing, because a lot of people have this thing, a real estate deal, and every day it's, why is it moving faster? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, their focus goes there. Well, what about your income stream? What about your main income stream? And that lack of patience that one feels when things aren't getting done in a fashion that they would like it turns into this emotional obsessiveness that
you know what? I think you just hit. Go ahead. Stay on that part. I think that's the part that I was talking about. I seen like that emotional obsessiveness from these guys in their voice. Go ahead. My fault.
Yeah, no, I believe it's because they want that so bad, and in their mind, something shouldn't be holding it up. But at the end of the day, you could be the smartest guy on the planet, but if you have 4 moving parts or 4 people, you're just not going to control when it gets done. So you simply have to control yourself and just have a structured check-in and a structured way to approach it, and then get back and do your business on a daily basis. So.
You said 4 moving farts.
I know.
That's amazing. Sorry, I was waiting till the point serious was cut. I think what I learned in every occasion, and I can look at it like this. When I built the old company with the team there, a lot of things were rushed and were missed. And even though it grew, I think that was part of the demise. When I built things with John, we had time. We didn't rush things. Neither of us were trying to pay our rent with the current business we were building. We could make decisions in timely, urgent manners, but with edge. Like, it just felt so different to operate 2 different ways.
It felt solid.
Oh, so solid. and the results are undeniable, like I talked about in another podcast. So it's interesting. Like, I've seen it both ways. And everybody wants things to happen now. Everybody. It just doesn't fucking work that way.
But
it doesn't. You have to be patient.
But we have to get into a deeper conversation with that. Is that
let's do it. We got 53 seconds.
We got 53 seconds. Ask yourself, why does it have to happen now?
Because it's gratification. Everybody.
But it's usually it's usually like, I got to get this money to buy something show. If you can get past that to say being done right is better than being done fast. Yeah. Like, and right takes its process. Like, that's the place to get you.
But if money, I think there's another point too. If money is part of that thought process, or I need to get this done to get that, well, then actually I would say you're probably, as an individual, maybe disqualified from doing that thing, because if it matters so much that you have to have it happen and it doesn't, then you're putting yourself in a position where bills can't get paid. So I think you need to make moves in business, moves in life, moves from an investment standpoint when their outcome doesn't affect your daily life or your day. Like, everything's on lock, so you can think clearly and things can be done.
That was literally the difference too, because before I was transitioning from training to try to move into supplements and was worried how I was going to pay my bills. And this time I wasn't.
So decisions are loaded with that?
Yeah, they're loaded with urgency.
How can you think clear when you got to pay bills?
You can't. So that's why that strategy of building something while you're already doing something else and just burning the clock constantly probably is one of the best strategies, because
how you produce a quality business.
I like
All right, guys. Out from behind the curtain.
Yes, you are. Wizard of Oz.
Let's let everyone know Butt Life is the new producer. He has earned his spot. He has worked hard.
Yes.
He will still get his fucking knuckles smacked with a ruler if he gets out of line. But up until this point, you have done very well. We're proud of you, Jeremy, and we appreciate your work.
And his name is Jeremy Hanna. Butt Life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go, Jeremy.
All right.
Earned, not given.
Yes.
Everyone keep on sending us questions on Instagram and Twitter. Direct messages are the best way to reach us at Biz and Biceps.
Get a free shirt.
Get a free shirt. Thanks, Mo. Almost forgot.
Taking your job.
He's already fucking it up.
Yeah. All right. First question. I currently work in film production, and I have been on the grind for the past 2 years to become a DP. In this industry, it is largely about who you know combined with a little luck. I refuse to believe in the luck part and believe in creating my own destiny. What steps can I take to move me in the right direction of my production dream?
Okay. So luck. Luck is where preparation meets timing, and okay. So this guy's working hard. He knows what he wants. Those are two great things, right? If you're already working hard, self-admittedly, and you know what you want, you are doing, or you have the two most crucial pieces. So continue to study anything that you believe you are not the best at. So with those two pieces, all you can do is take your base of solidity and make it even more fucking solid and build it into fucking titanium. So study your craft more while continuing, back to multitasking, while continuing to want it so bad and work so hard. But listen, nobody knows how to do everything. So spend your time studying and getting better at the things that you're not great at now. And trust me, buddy, you will earn that position because you got the two most important pieces of the recipe.
Yeah, and what I would say also on top of that, that's great advice, John, is try to look in your life to see if there's, we talk about this a lot here on this podcast, anything that's taking you off the path. Is there people? Is there situations? Is there some vices maybe you need to give up? Is there some other things that are potentially diverting your attention from this ultimate goal? And I don't remember in the question, but making sure that you have that definitive purpose backed behind it. Like, are you doing it to get your mom out of her situation like John did, or trying to change, the stuff that from the trailer stuff that I was talking about, and Maurice said, like, do you have these essential situations or goals or things in what's your real why and definitive purpose that'll back that up, and really look at these things that are taking you off the path, if any, and change them.
Yeah, first thing that came to my mind, if I was like a guy with film, or if I was a guy who took pictures, I would just start doing a bunch of shit ton of work just to get myself out there, because I know a lot of people who are skilled but they don't really work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
There's a lot of people like that.
Yeah, a few people in my head popped up. But if
Yeah.
I wanted to do film, like, I would make sure as many things that I can do in regards to film are within the industry. And I know a lot of people are always talking about, man, I can't do this because I'm not getting paid, and they worry about the payment thing. But I promise you, like, there's just a shit ton of people who have so much skill, and the probability of getting where you want to become or getting where you're going will increase the more eyeballs that are seeing from the people stuff that you're doing. There may be people who are coming up within any industry, be it acting, be it music, be it whatever, and if your skills are displayed and you're constantly working on them, and you're understanding the industry, because like a lot of stuff, like what happens outside of the industry, what happens in the industry is two different things. And where you're working and getting paid, like people think with speaking, right? From the outside, they see you're speaking, but then there's like a nuance inside of speaking once you're speaking to continuously speaking and getting booked and getting heat. John knows Cory, and Cory knows this person, that person knows that person. But if you're working and giving out, maybe you give some free video stuff out to somebody, and maybe that person is seen by somebody who then enhances you and carries you to a larger platform. But that's the first thing I thought about.
Love it. Next question.
I have been doing some freelance marketing projects and will be moving to New York soon to start a job in marketing, but I have recently been thinking about starting my own firm. Do you guys have any advice for turning a freelance project into my own business?
Well, if you're in the decision process of, I'm going to take this job, but I might start a firm, you're not ready to start a firm. You're absolutely ill-prepared, because if you were ready to start a firm, you would have so much time and energy and thought and so much fucking vigor behind that statement. You would lay out why you're going to do it, how you're going to do it, what your business model is. It's not, I'm going to go take a job, but then I might do a firm. That is a recipe for failure. So what I would recommend is, if you have that feeling inside of you that you may want to start your own firm, learn more, brother. Go to New York. Go learn at the highest level. It may not be the highest level, but at a high level, from a serious marketing agency in the mecca, in the hub of marketing agencies. And if you still want to start your own agency, extract all their skills, all their processes, and then once you're ready, right? Once you're ready and you know your business model and you know your clients and you know how to do it, then peace out. But right now, you are not ready. Go take that job, learn more.
I'd say, check this out. I'd take that job, do it for a little while, like look at it like a little internship for 6 months, go take another one at another firm. It's literally like how if I learned some lifting off Louis Simmons, some off John Bros, some off Arnold, read from that guy. Like, you need to go and see how things are being done. And then you might only I take 2% of what John does and 2% of what Mo does, and like then I make it my own. Like, you got to formulate your own process
to be a Ronin.
To be your own firm. So I think that you need to go and take a couple jobs, and then you'll know when it's time, because you'll be like, you know what, I can do it better than that guy. I can do it better than this firm, and you need to know that is your opportunity, that you believe you're more skilled, and then you can run it through this compensation shit I talked about.
Yes, and don't undervalue the process of learning, because I guarantee you, when you get to the process where you're building your own firm, if you've done it too fast and you started it, you'll be like, man, I wish I'd have fucking built this plane on the ground instead of in the sky. You wish it.
I like that. I like that.
That's
phrase.
amazing.
If you build a plane in the sky, things might not work out so well.
Yeah, exactly.
Your whole business
crash.
Not a lot.
I've never heard that one before.
Yeah,
Mo.
gravity is not on your side in that scenario.
That's amazing.
About life.
Next question.
How important is it to keep your word? Giving your word to someone and not keeping it is obviously a bad move. There's context. There's context.
All right, go ahead.
Giving your word to someone and not keeping it is obviously a bad move, but what if you have promised something and another opportunity comes up, which is better or more profitable? Would abandoning your original promise be acceptable, or should you follow through and keep your word?
No, you're a fucking punk motherfucker. Bottom line is this, okay? If you abandon your word, you're nothing. You're nothing. At the end of the day, that is all we have. So if you tell someone, hey, we're going to do this, yep, shake on it, my word, and a better opportunity comes, and the other dude or the other female that's banking on you because you gave them their word, you just say, oh, got a better offer, peace.
The whole program.
So they're fucking preparing all this shit. They're ready to go, they're excited, and you take 20 more bucks to fucking sacrifice the one thing in life you cannot sacrifice, which is yourself. At the end of the day, you fucking lose. When you fucking don't back up your word, you are going to get shellacked because it will come back around and you will be punked everywhere you go because you're nothing but a slut. You're nothing but a whore, and nobody will respect you. They will find out. You will pay the price. Don't be a slut.
Definition of shellacked.
Shellacked is like dude he didn't get knocked out. He got sent 10 feet.
I love it.
You got it?
Old cartoon punches.
Yeah.
I think a couple things that popped into mind. I'm going to take Mo's approach. A couple things popped into my mind. One is that this is not as valued as it used to be in like back in the day. It should be. It should be.
It's valued by people who win.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, exactly. So that's the one thing I want to say. And number two, the grass is not always greener, everybody. Because you know what? There's so many intangible things that have to work when you think that opportunity is better. If you gave your word and it felt good, the grass is not always greener. I'm just telling you, people do this a lot, and they sacrifice that relationship. If I tell John I'm going to do something, I sacrifice a relationship because I think I'm going to make $100 more with Mo. It doesn't fucking usually work out, and you look like a fucking idiot. And no one wants to, mess with somebody that
they don't respect you.
They don't respect you. And so that's what I'm saying. Love it or hate me. I try to tell you what I know I can do, and I go through every day with it, and that's it. And then I just think that that's real important. But I think this is a lost art, my brothers.
So to everybody listening, I had 3 things to talk about today because I thought we were going to run more programs. My first thing that said is there is no more team. Everything is all about me. Him even having the wherewithal to write down on the paper that I would question even if my word means something.
Man.
That's crazy in itself.
Yeah.
In prison, they got a thing to say everything after but is bullshit, right? So if he reads that whole question, as soon as he gets to but, this is bullshit, right? Because
Love
you know.
I'm going to prison so I can – no, I'm not. Yeah.
But everything after but I can go make, here comes all the bullshit.
Right.
You know. So when you listen to people talk.
That's like a disclaimer that basically
that's a great point.
Everything. Listen to somebody talk. As soon as they talk, but here comes the bullshit.
Right.
Everything after but is bullshit. They say it in prison all the time. I'm telling you, my man, if you have to literally
You're on fire today, Mo.
Yeah, if you have to sit here and question yourself.
He's on fire.
I'm telling you, my man, Cory, we can probably have a whole segment about this. The lost art of just understanding that your word has to have value. We live where it's just so loose. It doesn't matter if you hold a commitment. It doesn't matter if you jump on 55 different teams. It doesn't matter if you're with this person Monday, that person Tuesday. That is like a bunch of just weak-ass shit, and we live in a society like that, and we should be preserving that's the thing.
Yes.
And so that guy comes to the hole, he gets his shot blocked. Boom, flag on the play. Boop. As soon as you hear all the butt bullshit after all this, fuck him. Just go to the next question.
Do we have another? We go on main event.
I just.
But
lost.
no, say that one more time though. Anything after but in the conversation is bullshit.
Everything after but in the conversation is bullshit.
I want to say one thing relating to me and you. I remember talking to Cory. This was before we were partners, and he said, we were in a situation where his old my company money. He said, man, I may not have the money for you. but I'm going to answer your phone call every time you call me about it. And he did. And he answered. And they were tough phone calls because it's tough when you owe people fucking large sums of money and you have to just tell the truth. That's hard because a lot of people will come down hard on you. But real people, I believe, respect the fuck out of it. And that's where I initially gained so much respect for you.
Yeah, I just said like, yo, this sucks. I mean, this is what it is.
Right.
And on my word, we'll get it to you.
Right, exactly. And you did.
And so I appreciate that, John.
Yep.
All right, time for the main event.
Ding, ding, ding. Butt Life.
All right, I'm going to start it off by saying all the things we've talked about, I think, have built up to this really well.
Yeah.
And in the mastermind principles of Andrew Carnegie, which is what we're doing here, paying it forward and also helping ourselves
Cory,
grow.
how do you feel about the word mastermind and how it's being used nowadays?
It's fucking stupid.
It's
and I'll tell you, it's bad because what?
Tell them why. Tell them why.
I want to tell you exactly why. And honestly, I think that this is probably the first time I've had a true mastermind, and I believe it's contributing to why all of our success is going so well right now, right? And so the true mastermind is when Carnegie, not Rockefeller, because I don't think they were homies, but guys of that status were in rooms weekly, going over opportunities, working through things. And this is like back in the day, right? This is in the 20s, this is early 1900s. This shit don't change. Yeah. And having thought-provoking conversations around business, pushing themselves to be better.
Were they selling tickets?
They weren't selling tickets.
There you go.
And so I think that at the end of the day, it got morphed into this commercial bullshit that somebody feels good because they went to a mastermind conference. What you did is not that. You went to a seminar where that guy sold you a ticket to say that you're that cool. Masterminding is when like-minded, peer level type people are all participating and making shit happen. So just so y'all know, that's what a true mastermind, and that's how the bosses fucking did it.
There ain't no tickets to a mastermind because if you cannot contribute at a certain level, you ain't walking through the door, brother.
No, then in the OG way, they would demote your ass, then just kick you out if you wasn't bringing game.
Right.
Like if you weren't on that level, you was out. So, all right, I'm glad you brought that up.
Yep.
We want to talk about ultimate time waster. And a lot of that has to go around with speculation of what this or that could happen, might happen, and usually it doesn't happen. People waste a lot of time on that. John and I were kind of talking about this in the office yesterday. I'll let you kind of frame it up, John, and we'll pass the mo.
Yeah, speculation. Speculation feels good to people because when they're dealing with a situation that they may not be comfortable with, it feels good to people to talk to someone else and say, okay, so this is going to happen. What if she says this? What if he says this? Because they're not strong enough and have enough confidence to say, okay, whatever happens, I'm prepared, and what needs to be done. Because they don't have that yet, and that's what we're trying to share with the listener, they spend time talking about it. And what I want everyone to understand is when you spend time speculating about what might happen, you're not affecting any outcome. You're not getting anything done. You are truly just wasting time because if Mo and Cory are like, hey, we want to talk to John about changing Fosco's world up to this, and they sit in his room after I leave for 3 hours predicting how John's going to react. What if he says this? What if he says this? I'll probably come in and say something you guys never even thought of, and you guys wasted 3 hours of your life.
For sure.
Right, where you could be doing other things. So when we were talking about this yesterday, I invested in this gentleman's company in Chicago, and it was a bad investment. And I told Cory, I went in and I spent 3 days in his office. And literally, for these 3 days, this man had a meeting on Friday. These 3 days were Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. He was bouncing from talking to his lawyer to talking to his accountant to talking to his lawyer to talking to his accountant about the meeting that he had on Friday and what the gentleman might say to him. Well, guess what? The lawyers and the accountants love it because they're billing them. Because they're billing them.
Ring the register, motherfucker.
And I just invested. I say, hey, what are you doing, man? He goes, I'm trying to be prepared. I said, how the fuck you preparing yourself? You're guessing about what someone might say. Why don't you just walk in knowing your shit and deal with it as it happens? He's like, no, man, this is a whole different business. I said, don't give me. It's a different business shit. This is interaction in business. It doesn't matter if you're selling fucking socks, jerseys, or fucking frames, dude. Speculating gets you nothing. And I know it feels so comfortable to have another smart guy say he might do this, but you guys are fucking jerking each other off. That's what you're doing. You're jerking each other off. Because when you walk in that room and the guy punches you in the fucking mouth with something you didn't think of, you're like, So in short,
Jerking your gherkin.
right. In short, be prepared. Spend the time not talking to someone else about what someone might say, and say, I'm going to be prepared on my side. Right? Whatever we're going to talk about that I am involved with, I am going to be prepared. Because I cannot control, nor do I know what's going to happen in the future. So preparation is the answer, not speculation.
I think, to me, and I've heard you talk about this before, Mose, you got more prepared and confident within your business that you know when you walk in that whatever they hit you with, you're either going to have the answer because you know it inside or out, and I feel the same way about my business, or you have somebody that does it. And so, so speculating that is a waste of time because you already have the answers.
Yes. Well, I'll tell you, it was a few things. I always say it's a few things that hit me. One, I read an entire, probably six chapters on living in illusion, right? And the whole thing was about speculation, hypothetical situations. And they said when you live a hypothetical situation or to assume that somebody's going to do something, you're actually living an illusion. And so you're wasting time because what has not actually happened, like it hasn't happened, and you're just assuming what may take place. But part to combat that is to what Cory's talking about, is to be so well prepared within what you know that when conversations or things happen, it's like, okay, I can pivot off the stuff that I know, and if I don't know it, or I have the ability to either ask somebody or the humility to say, hey, I don't know what's going on, I can get back to you. You know what I'm saying? But the ultimate thing in business, once business starts, once you get it off the ground, once you get going, because that's when we talk about preparation, that's why it's so important to prepare, so important to take time, so important to build the plane on the ground, because when you get off, when you're up, off, and moving, time is the most important thing. Right, you're like, time is what you don't like. That's not your friend. You're trying to make the most of your time because money's invested, money's moving, and the person who put the money up, John, expects a return on his money. And if I don't see you working towards that space or working operationally with something, because like you can easily understand if something is going in the right direction. Right, you can walk, you can see operations, you can be like, okay, this is going in the right direction. How do you sell the cameras? Okay, cool. You know, or how do you sell this product? You can kind of put it together if you're asking somebody who's in the business. But when you get to that, like the points of failure, the sticking point of assumptions, you're like, yo, bro, this is not going to get us to where we're going, and then my money's just stuck up in this process. You know what I'm saying? And you have the ability to get it out of the process if you're stupid ass, just quit assuming and just get to working. You know what I'm saying? And so my advice to somebody, which I can't offer a whole lot, right? I can offer this whole thing. Really think about it, right? And I read, like, I can remember reading about it, and I remember this was probably like 2008, and I remember Hillary Clinton was doing an interview with somebody, and she was talking about, she said, I don't speak on hypothetical situations on purpose. Right. I thought like reading it and hearing her say it, and love her or hate her for Democrat, Republican, whatever the fuck, I don't give a fuck. She's still a high achiever. You know what I'm saying? And
of course.
Yes. And if you're a high achiever, and this is the mentality you take towards not getting into hypothetical situations, you understand that this is a complete waste of time and a complete misdirection of my energy. And so speculation is obviously hypothetical, and it's a fucking waste of time. You're wasting your time.
We were talking about something on one of our other businesses, and we started to speculate, and then John and me both looked at each other like, why are we even doing this right now? We're literally wasting time. Remember, John? And actually, I had the conference call last night, and it went completely different than I expected. Literally this exact, like, we only wasted maybe 5 minutes, but literally it went completely different than I expected.
So are we talking about, before you go, are we talking about the importance when you're in business of being efficient with your time?
Yeah. Being
not
efficient,
using it doing this shit.
Because speculation in business, I would equate to gossip in high school.
Yeah.
Right? It's fucking
a great parallel.
Yeah.
It's fucking worthless.
You see what John's wearing today, Maurice?
So here's an example. Here's a real example that I know our listeners can relate to of not speculating and taking information that a lot of people would speculate on and take action, right? So we're in the supplement business, one of our businesses. And there is something that we refer to as the Amazon effect. I think every business that sells anything is feeling the Amazon effect.
100%.
Not only is there the Amazon effect, but there is when you go to major grocery, supplements used to have half an aisle. Now they got fucking 4 aisles.
Yeah.
That's just how it
Shit's
is.
changed.
They're readily available, they're cheaper, and they're everywhere. So how do we continue to grow with the same profit margins? It's quite a fucking thing, right? It's quite a fucking thing to figure out when shit's cheaper everywhere and people can get more for less. Well, we didn't speculate on it. We said, okay, what are some action items we can take to combat this? And that's exactly what we did. Anyone who pays attention to our business has seen it change over the past year. And I don't know, and I'm not going to speak on competitors, I don't know if a lot of other people were able to foresee and take action to avoid the pitfalls of simply the environment of that business.
Just the marketplace, man.
But other motherfuckers, here's speculation. And me and Cory have been in a room, been like, oh, I wonder if it's this company, or I wonder if it's this company. I wonder if it's that product. All that's wondering. It's wondering.
Yeah.
So we didn't talk about it. We said, what can we do now to impact this with our best judgment? And we did it, and it's working. We are not God's gift. We're probably going to have to do it again next year.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this one thing.
Everyone has to redo it, keep doing it.
I'm searching for like the deeper stuff, and this is why I love to show. What I think both of you are saying is that functioning from a factual space and a truthful space is where you actually need to be functioning from.
Yes.
Speculation is not fact.
The reality
when
space.
when you're sitting here talking about what is the action item, you can only take action items off of facts, off of real information, things that are real. When you're talking about being the truth, when you talk about holding your word, a lot of stuff just factual, stuff, tangible, factual stuff that you can make moves on. And that's how you are efficient with your time, information. And we talk about numbers, things being real, and functioning from a place of realness is ultimately how you grow.
It's not emotion, it's not feeling, motherfucker. No. It's on paper. It's in front of your face. It's on the sales report.
And I think some people could literally be working with somebody all day long that only deals in not any of this.
But we can be the provider to distinguish what's real from what's fake, right? So if you've been brought up in an environment that this is all you know, this is all you're being taught, this is all you know. Yeah. But if you lunging around the track, if you listening to this stuff in your car, you can ask yourself, with the person that's leading me or the stuff that I'm engaging in, am I dealing off gossip, speculation, or am I dealing off facts? And
facts in action.
Bro, facts are what run the world. Facts are what run real business. Facts are something that this is the baseline of whatever it is I'm talking about, or the top line, whatever you want to call it. Facts are facts, and the search for the truth, I think, is the search for personal fucking truth and personal facts about yourself and who you are and developing. I think when you just even get into that space where that becomes a real thing for your own life, and you translate that into business and being who you are, and like, I don't know if I'm going into a different direction, but hopefully I'm talking about like just the dealing with the factual person of who I am, accepting it and understanding I need to grow. And when you can incorporate that into business based upon facts, we're not speculating anymore. We're not wasting time anymore. Like, I weigh 200 pounds. I got 18% body fat or whatever it may be. This is the facts of my situation. I have to get it better. These are the things that I have to do, the tangible things. You can explain it that way. This is the business. These are our sales. This is what contributes to it. This is what not is going on. This is the strategy that we need to build based upon the facts and the information that we have. And like that's
what I want listeners to be obsessed with from a business standpoint. And you've heard this phrase many times is, okay, numbers don't lie, so you have to be obsessed with numbers because everybody lies. Everybody has an opinion. Yeah. Everybody has a viewpoint. In business, everything can be managed by numbers. Please, if you're listening, become obsessed with analytics. Become obsessed with numbers. Learn to see the picture that the numbers aren't directly showing you, but they're really showing you. Because numbers will tell you every fucking answer you have a question to. But a lot of people, they see numbers, and those numbers don't agree with their opinion. Their opinion on what should happen or what should take place in their business don't match up with the numbers. And then they start knocking the numbers. Well, the numbers don't have an opinion. They don't have a dog in the fight. All they have is the truth behind them.
The numbers are the result of somebody's behavior, either the action or inaction of it. And when you said that, it made me think about football. Football would be an easier reference for them.
Right.
At the end of the game, somebody has 35, the other team has 17, right? And if you just looked at the score, you could say somebody didn't play defense very well. Somebody got beat from a cornerback standpoint. Somebody didn't tackle very well. Somebody returned the ball.
How do you win? You have a higher number.
You have a higher number. But the numbers directly show you what the behavior was, and then if you're owning the team, you can say, okay, these are the things that I need to address, and that's how you. Data doesn't lie.
Hey Mo, when you're playing football and the offense only is responsible for 189 yards, what happens on Tuesday in practice? What is the coach talking about?
We got to make motherfucking adjustments. 189 yards ain't enough. We got to motherfucking run the ball better. We got to pass the ball better. We got to get the ball in the end zone. He's going to be on the coach's ass to say, hey, why is this motherfucker dropping the ball? We need to do some ball security drills. You the fucking receivers coach, John. Why are you guys not catching the open passes? Hey, I need you to substitute your first string guy for the second string guy. This is just how it works.
All off numbers.
All off numbers. That's the fact. If we got nothing else from this shit, that's a fact. Numbers tell everything.
Numbers don't lie, friends.
Hey, you know what other number doesn't lie, John?
What's that, baby?
Is at Skillshare.com/biceps.
Yes.
They're giving you 2 months free at 99 cents per month.
Listen.
Over 20, John, this is another number for you.
Okay, I love numbers.
Over 20,000 classes in business from marketing, technology, and design,
Numbers
John.
are kind of sexy, I think.
I mean, yeah.
They can
Skillshare, at Skillshare, it's super sexy.
Absolutely.
So, John, when you go to Skillshare.com.
I listen to Barry White before I go there, and then I go there and I see all these numbers.
Maurice, go to Skillshare.com/biceps because you want to learn more, because I know that for sure.
Yes.
Talk about 20,000 classes that people have opportunities to learn. That's a lot.
Yes, I'm going to promote it for this, right? In the information age that we're in, and we have the internet, to be able to just go tap in to what it is that you want to learn specifically. Like I always tell myself, I wish that I can go back to college, but I don't want to take a bunch of GECs, right?
Nah.
I would like to take the classes that I
That's
think
the business program.
Yes, I just want to take the
On you.
classes that I would like to get better in that will basically be applicable to my life, and this is a platform to engage and to do that.
At such a low, reasonable price, guys. And
Yeah,
I'm telling you, as
You spend more on chewing gum.
right, as people who hire, okay, this is a trend in business. People are looking for those with skills more than those with a piece of paper now.
Yeah.
Because of
That's
this
a fact.
It's a fact.
That is a fact.
Right, and Skillshare, okay, it's in the goddamn name. That's where you can go learn specific skills that when you go and interview somewhere, you could say, I know how to platform. I know how to code and make apps. I graduated from fucking University of Illinois at Chicago. Oh, what'd you major in? Liberal arts. Well, fuck you. Get out of here. But if you got something from Skillshare and you know how to fucking make an app, you got a job with me, buddy. Let's go.
Skillshare.com/biceps. And if you're listening right now and you have college debt,
Yes.
and you would like to refinance that college debt with this amazing company called Common Bond.
Common Bond. Get on the Common Bond program.
Yes.
They have a great team. They're doing a great service. And these people, they seriously want to help. You have to understand what they're doing. They're giving you lower interest rates than the biggest banks because they want to solve a crisis. And
Yes.
college debt is a crisis. And if you go to commonbond.co/biceps, they will know you came from B&B. They will process your inquiry quicker. They will give you a fantastic rate. And on average, guys, this is on average. This isn't best case. On average, they save people $24,000 over the life of their loan. They have saved people up to $100,000. It's serious. If you have college debt, you owe it to yourself.
Hey, Maurice, should they subscribe to Business and Biceps and share it with their friends? Are you personally asking them to share it with their friends?
Yeah, so subscribe, download,
Yes.
share it with your friends, take a screenshot,
Tag us.
put it on Instagram, tag it, and I will pick a winner.
Oh, this guy!
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
Can they get a Red Zone sweatshirt?
Look,
No, they're going to get a
Or
jersey.
jersey.
They're
Get a
gonna
jersey.
jersey.
Ooh,
Jersey. Get a
So
jersey.
look-
Hey, right now, you heard it here.
So look, just
MC Claret.
Yes.
Not MC Hammer, though.
screenshot it on your IG, screenshot it on Twitter, and I don't have Snapchat. Maybe Cory does.
Just
Or-
tag
Maybe Cory does.
Yeah, I don't know, right? So,
Snap me.
but if you can do that and tag it, we'll go through. We'll pick a winner. Matter of fact, we'll pick 5 winners.
Oh, this guy's feeling rich
Oh
today.
my God! I don't even have a jersey.
I
yet.
know.
You must love our
It's going
listeners.
to cost him
Yes.
7 jerseys.
Yeah, so that's what we're going to do.
5 jerseys. I love it.
We're going to send them out to the people.
That's
and,
awesome.
we need you all to just talk about like this. Don't say nothing fictitious. Just talk about the real value that's gained
I like
from
that.
the platform.
love
I like that.
We don't just the real value from what was gained. And maybe when you're speaking from a truthful place, maybe one of your followers could say, "Hey, let me go ahead and tune into what these guys are talking about."
Mo is on fire.
Mo's on point today. He came
I
in
love it.
focus, and I love the fucking shoes.
We need to cut that up and put it on IG, too.
Show his shoes on IG, Jeremy.
All right. Number 13, Maurice Claret. Number 1, John Fosco.
Fucking ain't right.
Can the podcast be stopped?
Podcast
can't be stopped.